info dump or don't say a word. Move my head around like a startled bird. Can't do housework when I choose. When I win, I convince myself I lose. Fabric feels weird against my skin. I gotta hold my breath when I take out the bin. Can't go out cause it's too hot and bright. I can't sleep at night cause there's too much light. The bees in my brain won't let me speak. My thought process is quite unique. The mask comes off and now I'm weird. Everything is as I feared. Living in this world can be quite a chore. We've all had enough, but we still want more. Leave me alone, I don't want interference. Wait, not, mate, that's the Autistic Experience.
Hello and welcome to the Autistic Experience, your one-stop shop podcast for all things neurodivergent news, commentary, weird stuff, guinea pigs, and this week, presents, because it is now December. Ooh, scary.
Yay! Merry Christmas!
Yeah. My name is Kieran, as always, joined by Chloe.
Hey.
Hey. It is the... Just check. It is the 3rd of December, which means it's coming closer. It's coming, and by it I mean Santa. He's coming to invade your personal space again.
You can hear the bells. You can hear the faint whispers of Mariah on the wind. And Buble.
Michael and Mariah, the real worst M&Ms.
Yeah. Christmas M&Ms.
Yeah.
Michael and Mariah.
Even worse than the peanut ones. Anyway, that's not the podcast. The podcast is us looking at news stories for the last week and also some various other things that we get onto a bit later on. But whilst we're chatting, you can always go find us on Instagram at the Autistic Experience. Go give us a follow. We'd much appreciate it. And of course, if you fancy leaving some sort of rating and review on whatever podcast platform you happen to be listening on, that would also be much appreciated and is acceptable as a form of Christmas present.
Yes. And we like those.
Yeah. So, as the show normally goes, we're going to start off with home news. Now, what have we been up to? Well, still more driving lessons for you.
Yeah. On that saga, we've done 3 in the past
week. Yeah.
week. So since the last episode, we've done 3.
Yeah. You've probably done more driving than I have.
Yeah, I think I have. We did one that went really badly, I feel. Like I had a small mental breakdown. And then we did one where I was really reluctant to go above like 6 miles an hour again because I didn't want to do it. And then we had one a couple of days ago on Thursday that I think went very well.
Yeah, yeah.
And I did.
You've got up to the dizzying heights of 26 miles an hour in third gear.
I did. I went into third. Freaked out a little bit.
Immediately went back down to second.
Yeah, but I got there, and that's good. And I did some other things with other people on the road, and I didn't have an accident.
Yeah, still not crashed into anyone, which makes you a better driver than my sister.
Damn. I've nearly, though. I've come close.
Yeah, but nearly is just another word for didn't, so it's
true.
fine.
It's true. But yeah, that's going well, and I am now ready to take my test. I have had 5 lessons, I want to say.
That's plenty.
I can take my
That's
test
plenty.
now. That's fine. I've got it. I know how to make it go. That's all I need.
And, well, as we've said before, the best hope you can possibly have for a driving test is that you get stuck in traffic.
Yeah. Which is quite likely around here at the moment.
So roadworks
maybe I should
everywhere.
just book my test now because of all the roadworks.
Yeah, have a look at the stats and figure out when the most likely time for roadworks are.
Yeah, and then I can book it then, so I only have to go like in the first gear and just
just start,
tickle the clutch, basically, and that's it. I don't touch anything else.
Actually, I'll drive ahead of you and then cause some sort of commotion.
Yeah,
I'll cause a traffic
you drive
jam.
ahead and put L plates on the car and just drive at like at like 7. And then I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry about this, assessor. But this learner in front is just going exactly the same way as me, and it's really inconvenient.
Or I get we can get a caravan, or borrow a caravan, hook it up to the car, and I'll just drive it at 4 miles an hour.
Oh, God.
Neurodivergent news.
News.
Now, as always, this section of the show is about us just going through some of the news stories that have caught our attention from the last week. They might be good, they might be bad, they might be somewhere in between, they might be shoddily written, they might be interesting. Who knows? It's a bit of a mixed bag, but we'll see what we end up with this week. Now, our first story today was published on ITV on the 28th of November, and it's a story from Wharton, which is near Blackpool, which, as you discovered yesterday,
Oh, yeah.
or the other day, was the most deprived
Yeah.
place in the country.
It is, yeah.
And has been for a while now.
Blackpool takes the win.
Yeah, this story is that a Wharton mum has opened an accessible chip shop so that her autistic son, quote, has a job for life. And just in case our incessant ramblings don't necessarily get the message across, you can go and read this article as long as the other articles and stuff we talk about. Go look at our Instagram page at the Autistic Experience, and we'll have references to everything we talk about on there, so that just in case we don't make what we're saying super clear, it's entirely possible. Our brains work like that. You can go and read them yourself. So it's a place called Oliver's Chippy. This is in Wharton near Blackpool. And this lady opened it after there was a comment on a forum. Someone called her son a burden on the state, which stinks to me of quite an old person.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
She basically decided to kind of open the chip shop in 2021. So it's been going for a good 2.5 years now. And she's made it as accessible as possible. So they've got like visual screens on the tills. So it's not just the words, it's like, you know what you're ordering. So in general, yeah, the kid is 12 years old at the moment, I think. So the idea is that she's been getting him in to kind of train him up on stuff so that when he becomes an adult, he can take over the place, and then he's got a job for life, which is really quite helpful considering the amount of trouble it takes most of us to get into any sort of job.
No, I know. And then stick with it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's nice that he'll grow up with it and it'll become familiar to him. And hopefully that'll make it easier for him to stay settled in, like as an adult. But I mean, I just wanted to say that chippies are a very important place. Getting chips is very important. And I think the fact that they've made it accessible to everybody is fantastic, because nobody should miss out on the chippy.
I hope the chips are nice.
That's what I was just thinking. I mean, I've never found a chippy that's as good as the ones where I'm from, but orange chips are the best chips.
Like, no one from the Black Country will ever... If anyone mentions the word chips around them, they go, oh, we got orange chips.
Yeah. If you haven't experienced
you got chips, but they're not orange, are they?
Yeah. And nobody from outside the Black Country ever really knows what they are either.
No.
And they've never heard of them, and they've never tried them, and everyone's missing out.
Yeah,
they're
what,
the best things.
chips with what, orange slices or chips made out of oranges? Go, no, obviously not. Just for the purposes of information, what are orange chips?
So orange chips are battered, and don't quote me on this, but I think they've got like some slightly different seasoning on sometimes, but for the most part, their selling point is that they're basically kind of loosely battered chips. So like the same batter you get on your battered sausage, they put on the chips.
So something that's already wildly unhealthy because it gets deep fried is made more wildly unhealthy with the addition of batter.
Yeah, but they're amazing. And they're because they're battered, they look a bit orange. And they're like the best things in the world. And they barely exist anymore for some reason. So
yeah, it's because everyone who eats them has a heart attack 5 minutes later.
But I recommend go to the Black Country. If you ever find yourself in the Black Country for some reason, get some orange chips.
And then get out.
Yeah, or just don't go to the Black Country.
Yeah, that's our top tip for today. Don't go to the Black
Do
Country.
you think anybody actually visits it on purpose?
Not really, no. Most people I know actively try to avoid it.
Yeah, and just kind of Birmingham in general, that
Yeah.
whole area. They just like go around it, man.
Right, let's move on to our second article of the day. This one was also published on the 28th of November, so busy day. Busy day. This is on ADHDuk.co.uk, so it's the UK's ADHD charity, and it's an update on the ADHD medication shortage with some lovely statistics, because they sent a survey around a little while ago, and the results have just come in, and boy, does it make not fun reading.
No, I know. I thought that.
So, aside from the news that the main ADHD medication provider has said that they now expect the medication issues to continue until April 2024, which previously they had said, oh, it'll be fine from December.
Yeah.
Now they've pushed it back another 4 months. Just wait until March and they go, oh, actually, we'll call it August, shall we? Other side of summer, maybe. Just call it October just to be safe.
It's a long time, though. 4 months when it comes
Yeah.
to medication is a long time. Like.
Yeah. So let's have a look through some of these stats because they're not great. So there are a total of 1,054 respondents. Usually for like scientific bases, we like to say about 1,000 is a good number for being statistically significant.
Yeah.
Because anything less than that, you run into the risk of bias in some way or skewed data points. But over 1,000 is scientifically statistical. So with 1,054 respondents, it says, when asked the question, do you agree with the following? I am satisfied with the government's actions during this ADHD medication crisis. 94% of people are dissatisfied. 97% have been impacted by the ADHD medication supply issue. Only 15% of people with an ADHD prescription were actively contacted by their GP, which was required, it says, by the National Patient Alert. So all the GPs should have been in contact to consult about the medication issue, but only 15% were.
Yeah, that's not great, is
Yeah.
it really?
25% have still had no contact at all. 11% have had their prescriptions stopped, which forced them to contact their GP, which, you know, if you know anything about actually trying to make a GP appointment,
Ugh, nightmare.
means that it's worse than trying to get Coldplay tickets. Because like 9 a.m. that Monday morning, like it's Coldplay for old people.
Yeah, it is old play. You're on the phone and it's like ringing for kind of 10 minutes, and then finally the receptionist answers and you're like, hey, I need to book an appointment. They say, sorry, there's nothing left.
You're like, it's 9:01. Yeah, should have got here earlier.
Yeah, I know. Ridiculous.
It says only 13% of people with an ADHD prescription are satisfied with their GP's actions. It's not great when you've got a lower satisfaction rating than the Prime Minister. Actually, let me just check that joke. Hang on. No, it's not Ridgy.
Ridgy. Ridgy Sunak.
Ridgy Sunsk. What my fingers decided to type.
Ridgy Sunak.
Approval rating. There we go. Yeah, I'd say that's about a more or less correct joke. But yeah, so carrying on with the stats. Apparently, you won't actually need to read this article when we're done with this, so let's keep going. Only 8% have had uninterrupted medication, whereas 27% have had no medication since the supply issue started. Meanwhile, 33% have had long gaps and 25% have had short gaps. So that's not great, is it?
No.
And then, let's look at the big numbers. So 91% of people who take ADHD medication are concerned on the impact of their job, with 44% overall concerned that they may lose their job.
Just think about that for a second, that because of, this medication crisis, that these people with ADHD have kind of absolutely nothing to do with, like, they're not, remotely at fault or anything at all. Concerned that they might lose their job because of it. And, like, I mean, we'll talk about this in a moment, I suppose, because this is one of the later stats. But, you talk about mental health in people with ADHD and how they can be kind of suffer from depression and low mood. And then you add on to that the fact that taking away their medication might cause them to lose their job.
Mm-hmm.
So, they can't kind of maybe pay their bills or buy food or pay their rent or whatever. Like, it kind of keeps adding stuff on that makes it worse and worse. Like, they're already not getting their medication, which probably is making them struggle. And then they're worried they're going to lose their job. Like, is it any wonder that, again, the later stat we'll talk about?
No, we'll go into that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the later one, this is a fair warning for...
delicate ears amongst you.
Yes, that we're going to be bringing up a slightly sensitive topic that, according to this, there has been an increase in individuals with new suicidal thoughts or increased suicidal thoughts of over 62%. And the suicide rate for ADHD, it says, is much higher than the baseline anyway. So that kind of just goes to show again, like... and tying it into this one, that 75% of those who take ADHD medication and that are in a relationship are concerned about the impacts on their relationship, with 28% thinking they may lose it. So you've got people who are already more prone to depression and more prone to things like suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And then you take away their medication.
Yeah.
And it just makes it even worse, because now they're thinking, oh, I might lose my job, I might lose my partner. And you just get more depressed generally because your brain isn't regulated. So
another 5 months.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because the people currently, I mean, you've got these stats now, there's still people that haven't been affected as badly yet. But the longer you leave it, the more people are going to be affected.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't say looking forward, but I'd be interested to see the stats in another 3 months.
Yeah.
The other side of Christmas.
Because you may actually get these people who are now saying they're concerned about losing their job or losing their relationships. They might lose their job.
Yeah.
And then you're putting them into this risk of suicidal thoughts and things, which we've talked about before as well, that the kind of seeking help and therapy for that as somebody with ADHD is also extremely difficult at the moment. So it just seems like, the whole system is kind of being set up for people like us to fail,
Yeah. This medication shortage has been going on for quite some time now. So none of these stats should be really surprising in any sort of way.
No.
It's just that it is not getting anywhere near the level of attention it needs.
No.
Nowhere near.
Well, of course it's not, because it's a mental health thing and big government does not care about mental health.
No.
But a solution, perhaps.
This next story I picked because I knew Chloe would be interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is my kind of story.
Let's move on to the last story of today, which was also...
No way.
On the 28th of November on Vice.
Wow.
So, the article is entitled, Microdosing Psychedelics Could Help People with ADHD.
Whoop, whoop.
So it says, a new study shows that consuming tiny amounts of LSD or magic mushrooms could help ADHD sufferers with mindfulness. So, I think we should probably say off the bat that we can't necessarily, support this from a medical standpoint because we're not medical professionals, nor should you take the discussion of this as encouragement to go out and find your own magic mushrooms in fields and bogs or wherever they end up growing. But it's simply us just reporting that it is an article that has been published.
At the moment, psychedelics are illegal in the UK. Therefore, we are not suggesting that you do this. It's just a hypothetical idea.
We're looking
That
at it
we're-
on scientific merit.
Yeah. We're not advocating for it actively.
No. Because those sorts of things, when combined with things like driving, for example, so whereas like ADHD medication, can actually help you drive, I imagine psychedelics won't.
No, they can be quite dangerous if you don't take them properly, or if you don't know how to take them. But that's kind of, I think, the point of this article is like it's saying that microdosing them through, the NHS or through kind of medical professionals might be helpful, because then it can be regulated. Like, you're not taking it to get high, or like go on a trip. You just, like, it would hypothetically be like a small amount that they would prescribe that might help a little bit, in a similar way to, I suppose, if you've got kind of PTSD sufferers can take small amounts of, is it CBD? Or
Cannabidiol.
yeah, like that can, like, very small amounts of that can help with PTSD
anxiety.
and yeah, like, I suppose it would be a similar kind of concept, similar idea.
Yeah. I just want to say, like, because it is talking about it helping with mindfulness, which is the ability to present and allocate attention to what you're currently experiencing. And I feel very called out by what they've written here, which is, if you have ADHD, you may be able to relate to the sinking feeling of realizing you've zoned out completely under the shower head and can't recall if you've shampooed your hair or not. Yeah.
I know, sometimes when you do things so automatically in your brain somewhere else, then you think, did I do the thing or not? And then you just worry about it, don't you? Because you can't remember, unless you check it or you do it again. There's been times when I've left the house in the morning for work, and I'm like, did I lock the garage? Did I lock the front door? I do it every day, but I genuinely can't remember whether I did it this morning because I just wasn't concentrating.
Did I turn the heating off?
Yeah.
No, I didn't, actually.
Yeah.
I thought about doing it, so my brain went, yep, that's done.
Where I suppose the number of times when we make a cup of tea and then 3 hours later you go into the kitchen and go, oh
Yeah, tea.
there's tea on the side.
Or when you've made tea, drunk tea, and then gone, didn't I make tea a while ago?
What, you forgot you drank the tea?
And then you feel disappointed because there's no more tea to be had.
Yeah. So you make another one and then you go and do something else and then you forget it's there. You come back to cold tea later.
Yeah.
Yeah. As somebody who thinks that certain consumables do not necessarily always need to be completely illegal, I personally would be in favour of something like this idea being further explored and being used as a treatment if it helps people.
There was a section of medical history which was basically all of time until about 70 years ago or so, where cannabis was used quite extensively as a treatment for things like anxiety and pain.
Yeah.
And then I think it was just Americans got in a massive huff about it and then banned it. And we've been feeling the shockwaves ever since. And it's only kind of now that something that is seen as progressive, as like, medicinal cannabis use, is actually something that's been happening for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Previously.
It's always them, isn't it? It's always the American.
Let's move on to the next bit of the show, which normally is Question of the Week. But whilst planning this, I did remember that last week we mentioned we'd probably do some sort of Christmas present sorting guide or holiday present, I guess. There are various different festivals and things around December. So whatever you happen to be buying presents for,
here's your
top tips. So my philosophy on buying presents is, first and foremost, if anyone tells you specifically what they want, like they send you a link, under no circumstances get that, but use it as inspiration for something better.
Yeah.
Because most of the things I end up getting you are things that you had no idea were a thing.
Yeah.
So if you limit yourself just to what people ask for, then you really do, well, limit yourself.
And it's boring as well.
It is quite boring, yeah, because if you open something and go, oh, good, I was expecting this.
Yeah, you need some element of surprise.
Yeah. Although that said, when we got onto the autistic side, surprise is not necessarily the best thing. So choose your presents wisely in that case.
I suppose it depends on the person you buy them for.
Yeah, it does. Very much so.
Which you would know.
But otherwise, I think just good present buying etiquette is things that, I know especially at Christmas, people tend to just buy tat.
Yeah.
For other people, like novelty things.
Yeah.
Which get maybe one use, maybe two, and then just sit in a cupboard for the rest of time until they get thrown out.
Yeah.
So the key to a good present is things people will use.
Yeah.
And use consistently.
Yeah.
And I think especially winter-based presents, it's a very good opportunity to give people things to get through the next couple of months. Because January and February are the most depressing months of the year because it's cold and dark.
Yeah.
Unless you live in the southern hemisphere.
In which case, lucky you.
But they just get cold and dark months in June and July, don't they?
True.
Moving onwards. In the northern hemisphere, January and February are cold and dark and depressing, so get them stuff to get through the next couple of months. So that's why, chocolate is good. Fluffy clothes are good.
Alcohol.
If you're old enough to drink it, yes. And actually like it,
yeah.
I guess.
Nice fancy hot chocolate. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Slightly more suitable.
Yeah. I think you could probably combine that advice with stuff that's good for sensory needing people for a nice weighted blanket.
Yeah, I like a really soft, fluffy thing. So if you go in for, sensory, I think really soft is always good.
Yeah.
Soft and cuddly.
Yeah, one of those big kind of hoodie type.
Yeah,
things.
You can't go wrong with a big soft hoodie or something like that.
Yeah, big oversized hoodie so that you don't have to worry about sizing requirements.
Yeah. And they can just get into it and exist inside it.
Pretty much.
Completely. The dream.
Just something to exist in.
Yeah, basically. Something comfy that's not constricting, and you can also, with certain things, theme it around something that they're into.
Otherwise, just general tips. If you're getting someone some artwork or a poster or something, provide a frame.
Yes.
And ideally a way to hang it up, because no one likes getting an obligation.
Oh yeah, we've said about this before that don't get somebody something that is kind of incomplete. Like if they need something
Unless
else
it's a jigsaw.
for it. Yes. If they need something else for it, either provide that as well.
Yeah, like batteries.
Or just don't get the thing.
Yeah.
Because it's really annoying when you get a thing and then you open it and it's like, oh, you need this and this and this. And you're like, oh, good, now I've got to go and spend my money to get this stuff.
Yes. Well, speaking of obligations, do not buy books for people unless they're actively interested, or it's a rare book, or it's particularly interesting, or a fancy version of a book they already have, a nice big Lord of the Rings one, for example. Don't just buy a celebrity's autobiography, because that will not get read.
No.
You don't give someone homework as a present.
Yeah. I don't like reading myself, so any book, unless it's colouring book or baking recipes, is probably not gonna.
Unless you get something out of it.
Yeah.
No good.
I like picture books, and I'll have a kid's book, but not an adult's wordy book.
No.
We've glazed over this a bit already, but my biggest point that you've taught me actually is something useful. It can be useful, and you agree?
Do you want something useful?
Do you want a useful Christmas present? Yeah. I want a useful present. Want something useful. So, as endorsed by the girls, useful Christmas presents.
Guinea pigs really like utility, as it turns out.
Yeah. Well, they're very clever, sensible creatures.
They're famously sensible. Famously sensible.
But anyway, get people something they can use.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it can be kind of like a novelty themed thing, but like actually like appliances are good, or like, you know, replacing things that have been damaged, or I like nice kind of scented candles. And
but the thing is, like, I think it's a similar thing with candles and perfumes and stuff. They're all very personal, right?
yeah,
And if
that's
someone
true.
gets you something smelly that you don't like the smell of, you're not going to use it.
Yeah, maybe that's one.
And
to
especially with
avoid.
some of us have particularly sensitive noses.
Yeah. I think the best way to figure it out is maybe just pay attention, or like ask people, and if they need something, or if they want something like a tool, or, you know, that's usually a good way to go.
Or something to make their lives easier.
Yeah. Even if they didn't know they wanted it.
I think it's a good opportunity to move on to like autism and ADHD specific gifts,
Oh yeah.
to which we can just kind of rattle off noise cancelling headphones, earplugs.
Yep.
I'd say any like sensory kind of squishy toys
Fidgety
tend to be
bits.
quite fidgety things. A nice like weighted blanket, because it
Yeah.
helps for kind of stress and anxiety. Just the idea of something heavy on you. That's why having like a cat sit on you is surprisingly
Yeah.
calming. It's the
Or
exact
guinea
same
pigs.
thing. Let's see what else.
Pajamas.
Yeah, pajamas.
Loose, fluffy pajamas. Similar reason.
Weirdly, I think snacks.
Oh, you know what? That's exactly what I was just thinking.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, comfort foods and things that they like.
Yeah,
I love it when people buy me chocolate
and big crisps.
and big crisps.
Like,
yeah.
a couple of years ago, I got you a couple of packets of those, like the
Massive crisps.
big packets
Yeah.
of those.
Because I love stuff like that, but I
Yeah.
don't buy it for myself because it's either expensive or naughty. And so when people get them for me, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I've got a picture of you in the onesie I got you, just eating directly from that enormous bag of crisps. Bringing it back before we move on to events, we mentioned that surprises aren't necessarily the best thing for, I think, autistic folk especially. So if it's anything particularly big, I mean, we don't know how to react at the best of times, but if it's something big or important, say like, I don't know, you got them a car, or like you're going on holiday or something,
Just like a blank,
like,
innit?
don't expect us to react immediately. It'll take a while to process it.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of thoughts that we have, not necessarily in order which is particularly helpful, which will be, you go, what? It's like, we're going on holiday, and you go, what do I have then? I might have something on.
Yeah. Like anxiety first.
Yeah, anxiety first, then excitement.
And don't pressure yourself, I suppose, to react
No,
either when you're
because
getting presents of family.
I'm anticipating the autism subreddit is going to be awash around Christmas with people going like, people are upset with me because I didn't react
Yeah.
to this, or how am I meant to react to presents?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to react to presents. I just go, I open it and go, ah, next
Cool.
one. Just like I like it, but also my brain goes, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
A thing. It's good. Okay.
It's a thing. Can I eat it?
It's
No.
good thing, but that is all I can process right now. Thank you.
But yeah, that was more or less, I think, our present giving guide. But we'll take this opportunity to move on and have a look at some of the events which are coming up in the next week, which are geared towards us neurodivergent lot. Coming up in 2 days' time, as this goes out on the 5th of December, if you're in the Black Country area.
Hey, whereabouts?
Oh, Wolverhampton.
Wolverhampton.
Yeah. So between 1 and 4 in Wolverhampton, there is the Christmas Craft Wellbeing event for autistic adults, which is run by Autism West Midlands. But you do need to have a Black Country postcode to attend and have a diagnosis of autism or being in the process of getting diagnosed. Well, you're in the process of getting diagnosed.
No,
as we
but
mentioned, it's just the...
I don't have my Black Country postcode anymore.
I mean, you could lie.
Yeah, I could lie. Black country.
But also, we'd have to go down to the Black Country, and as we've already established, that's something we're not willing to do.
No, you probably want to avoid that.
I want to get out again as well.
Going to Wolverhampton, I can't promise you will. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, exactly. For that one, go to autismwestmidlands.org.uk for more information. Then on Thursday, the 7th of December, in Didsbury, which is a bit closer to us than the Black Country,
Yeah.
is... See, when I first saw this, I was a bit concerned. But after actually reading the description, it seems a lot better. So on the Thursday, it's the 7th, between 7 and 11 in the evening, it's Neurospicy, an ADHD and neurodivergent party, which, as you can imagine, made me go, oh no. Oh no. It's one of those things where they try and go, look at how awesome everyone is, and it's too busy and too noisy.
Yeah.
And not built for us in the slightest.
Most people there are like, oh, everyone's a bit autistic.
Yeah.
I'm just a bit autistic.
But this is happening at One Up, which is on Wilmslow Road in Didsbury. And it says it's a brand new event to celebrate neurodiversity and to create a safe and inclusive space for people with ADHD and other neurodivergent conditions to have fun, socialise and connect with other ADHDers from the local area. So it says, attendees are encouraged to wear comfortable clothing and bring their dancing shoes. We offer a fun-filled evening with tons of music, gaming and socialising. So there's gaming there. That's the important thing. Is it? Because One Up is a gaming bar.
I like a gaming bar.
So it's got there's consoles, arcades, pinball, board games, D&D, Pokemon cards, all sorts.
Sounds good to me.
So if it's a specific evening for us lot, then I don't think it's going to be too loud.
No.
So I think that could be a good evening.
It does sound like fun.
Yeah, it does sound like a bit of a fun one. So bring your earplugs just in case.
Yes.
And then the last event we've got for you today, obviously, there are other events going on in the UK. These are just our favourites. So on Sunday, the 10th of December, this is run by the National Autistic Society East Renfrewshire branch. I can't say that, but
East what?
Renfrewshire. Hang on, Renfrewshire. Renfrewshire.
Renfrewshire.
I wasn't just having a moment. Yeah, it's quite near to Glasgow, which
that's why.
provides all the information you need. But this is in the morning, in between 10:30 and 12, again on Sunday the 10th. It's breakfast with Santa.
Whoop.
Autism friendly.
Autism friendly.
It says we're hosting an autistic friendly breakfast with Santa event. The event will feature breakfast, entertainment, Santa visit, and gift.
Nice.
Don't know what the gift is, but tickets, it says from £6.13. So that's for a child and an adult. Oh, the adults are now sold out, so
just children
I guess
can go.
Yeah, but I imagine children can't go without an adult. So
does that mean that it's been booked out by loads of autistic adults?
I've got to assume so.
Santa?
Yeah, you go for it.
Yeah,
do it. Why not?
Go get that free gift.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really
Go get
free.
that paid lunch.
Go get that gift.
Paid breakfast.
Yeah.
But it says for adults, the menu is a Scottish breakfast, which
oh god, is there haggis involved?
It says nothing more than that. So we can only speculate on what it can possibly mean. But I'm assuming it's basically a full English breakfast, but the entirety of it has been deep fried.
Yeah. And also haggis. There's also haggis
deep
there.
fried haggis.
Can you do Scottish accent?
Yeah.
Can you say like the Monty Python sketch, but do it as deep fried haggis? You know, the spam, spam, spam.
Okay, so we got haggis, deep fried haggis. Oh, but don't have any haggis left.
So it's just what? Batter.
Deep fried.
Just deep fried.
It just got batter.
Just a deep fried.
Also, the
plate.
fry's not working, so you got to just drink it.
Oh God. Ew. With some iron brew.
Yeah. You got to slop down that batter with some iron brew. Absolutely delicious. It's a classic Scottish breakfast.
That's a really good Scottish accent. Haggis. 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 Can't do it. Haggis. Okay.
But there we have it. So that's the end of the episode. Thanks for listening to the Autistic Experience. What?
Just carry on. Only if I can do an accent as well.
I think she's about to shout the word Aer Lingus.
Well, if you're a bit Scottish and I'm a bit Irish and you're doing Scottish, then it's only fair.
Well, that's the end of the show. Thanks so much for listening in. If you've enjoyed what you've been listening to, then feel free to leave us a nice rating and review on whatever podcast platform you happen to be listening on. And go follow us on Instagram at The Autistic Experience. New episodes come out next Sunday at midday Edinburgh time. And, of course, in the meantime, you can go and follow us on Instagram. But in the meantime, you go get that free haggis.
Where have you gone? Where have you gone? Is that a bit northern?
I don't know where that was.
You go get that free haggis.
You go get that free haggis, governor. I went to go get mine up a chimney, I did.
I don't do haggis, I don't.
But
I'm going to get myself a Guinness.
In the meantime, you go get that batter. You go get that free batter breakfast.
I'm going to have a potato and a Guinness for my breakfast.